Have you ever presented a plan or a solution to a client that made so much sense, you just knew they had to say yes, only to have them say no or I'll think about it? Why did that happen? That happened because decision making is not logical. Decision making is largely emotional and then backed up with logic. And so I want to give you a skill or a tip from my new training course, The Emotionally Engaging Advisor. In Module 3, advisors learn the art and science of putting together what I call is a crazy good why story. You learn how to carefully construct the story so it makes a compelling, clear point. It doesn't ramble on, but it paints that emotional picture and draws people in emotionally. So I want to give you a tip from that module to get you started. So oftentimes when advisors are telling stories to clients or sharing their stories with me, they high level the story. They're very general about the story. And that's better than not telling a story. But a very general story doesn't usually paint a picture, and it won't have the same sort of emotional impact that a more specific story will have. So how do you solve that problem? One of the ways to solve that problem is to make sure you include at least one what I call moment in your story. So let me kind of spell out what this looks like. So I was speaking at a conference a few months ago. An advisor came up to me. I had just taught about the importance of creating and sharing what I call your why story. And if you missed part one of this mini training last week, let me catch you up. Your why story is a foundational story every advisor needs in their toolkit. Your why story is when you tell your clients, your prospects, your audiences, your COIs, your readers of your website, on LinkedIn, you tell the world why you do what you do and why you care about the people that you help. This storytelling type has been proven to increase trust, connection, and likability in a matter of minutes. Okay, so how do you add a moment to your why story? So I'm at this conference a few months ago, an advisor comes up to me. He's like, Deirdre, one of the reasons why I do what I do is that I saw my parents go through a bankruptcy when I was in college. And that's what I tell my clients. And I was like, okay, that's great. That definitely engenders some trust and connection, but it's not going to get you all the way there. In order to get you all the way there, you have to paint a picture and you have to make me feel something. And the way to make me feel something is to give me a moment. So let me give you an example of how I would do this if I were this advisor. And I made up this example. This would have to be true, but let's say it is. This is just for illustrative purposes. So I'm that advisor. Here's how I would say this. I'd say, I never forget this one Saturday morning in the fall of 1982. I was 15 years old, got up that morning, and I was late for hockey practice. And as I was running down the stairs, put my hand on the front door to open it, I heard a sound that I had never heard before. It was the sound of my father crying. Now, my father was this sort of traditional big, burly guy. He worked in construction. And this was not a man that you associated with crying. I had never seen my dad cry or even be overly emotional. So I quietly tiptoed over to our kitchen and I peered through the kitchen door. And I'll never forget what I saw. My big, burly dad had his head in his hands. And he was sobbing. He was sobbing. And at one point, he looked up at my mom with tears running down his face, and he said, Martha, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know how we're going to pay all these bills. That moment moved me to my very core. That moment is one of the reasons why I became a financial advisor, because I never want anyone I care about, anybody who comes into my path, to experience a moment like I saw my parents experience that morning in 1982. Okay, I'm guessing I could feel the emotion in that. I'm guessing you could feel the emotion in that, but do you see the difference between including a moment in your story that paints a picture versus just saying, well, my parents experienced a bankruptcy in 1982, right? It's like, it's two totally different playing fields. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. I want to encourage you, as you are crafting your why stories, to make sure you include a moment. And if you already have a why story, then add a moment. And the moment does need to be true. Okay, the moment needs to be true. But I know you have something. So I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to do that. And if you're not sure what your why story is, listen to last week's mini training, part 1 of the mini training, because I talked about some tips on how to find your why story. So I want to give you more. I am committed to helping as many advisors who want it to be able to communicate in a way that enables you to get your clients to say yes today to the very important decisions that they'd rather put off for someday. I'm on a mission to help advisors stand out and communicate in a way that they will never be seen as a commodity. And so if you're on board with that and you want my help, I'd love for you to check out my brand new free webinar. This is a great start to your training. So all you have to do to attend the webinar is either click the link in the text below, or go to crazygoodtalks.com/free training and just go ahead and register. So with that, be blessed and make it a crazy good day.